Yo, what's going on,
Ew.
everybody? How's everybody doing? Oh, I
Yo.
hate that dead quiet, and I wasn't ready.
I thought something was off right away. It's like an
I didn't-
instant. There you go. You got
That's
that.
so weird. No other stream does this that I know, especially like in this space. And so it doesn't sound bad though. When I watched, it doesn't sound like it's missing anything. But when I do
Maybe
it,
it's just the sound of our own voices.
it's weird. I don't know why it's so weird. But
I
anyway,
prefer the background music.
Me
I think
too.
it gives it a nice.
it's just a bed. It's a sound bed,
Yeah, it's a vibe,
and
man.
there's no dead space.
You know, it's a
Oh
vibe.
shit! I still have this joke Tron backer on my fucking. Hold on, let me change this real quick.
What?
No, it's just a joke. just a joke, and I don't want it to.
You've changed your name to Tron. We get
Tron
it.
backer. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? It's another Toy Talk. Funny enough, it is episode 31, which is apt as we get closer to Halloween. So that's funny how that worked out. Episode 31 is here in October. We got a big release to talk about today. Finally, the long-awaited Storm is available for pre-order in the Mondo shop. So we're going to talk all about that. We're going to do a little behind the scenes. We're going to show some great photography and then talk to you a little bit about a upcoming event that we have happening in November. So we're going to get to all that. And of course, at the very, very end, if you stick around to the end of the show, we're going to give away a Storm 1/6 scale figure from the Timed Edition. So if you haven't pre-ordered her yet, you'll be able to do it. But before we get started, how's it going, dudes? What's going on?
I've got something to share, actually.
Oh, you
We
do
were
have
talking right before, and now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I actually do have something.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna roll on over here.
Okay.
Hold on, let me
Got it. Take your time.
let me get over there for a second.
You got it. And so while you're doing that, Alex, how's it going with you? You've been working really hard?
Yeah. I've been working on a lot of fun stuff. Can't wait for people to see, as always.
Can you talk about the next 5 projects we haven't announced yet that you're working on? That's a test. See what you did. No. Yeah, look, it's an awesome day. We've been When did you start working on Storm? Sometimes I think people don't realize.
The Storm. Storm was a kind of a long. There were a couple starts and stops. It's one that I've definitely just personally had in the works for a very long time. But yeah, I think probably last year is when I started the sculpt.
Yeah, it's a long journey for us. What do you got, Hector? You wanted to show off?
Yeah.
Is it now?
We got our first factory sample.
Oh, I'm so glad you just showed this off. I'll tell you why.
We didn't get a chance to really show it off on the stream, but
Yes.
again, measuring up against my head.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's not like huge, but he's big. He's a big hunky piece of vinyl, and you can have his weapons back here. You can swap them out. You can put a couple different options here, but something that one of the highlight is that his nunchucks, like Mikey's, can bend, and you can kind of bend them into a position that you want. This is the first sample, but yeah, he just comes with a lot of great stuff, and I'm just in love with his whole vibe.
He's awesome. And it's so funny. I'm so glad you brought this up because I was going to forget, but Mac hit me up from customer service right before the show started. He goes, hey, if you want to let the people on the stream know, there's literally only 14 / pre-orders left.
Oh,
And for those people who were considering getting Slash, you're into the TMNT soft vinyl line, you just got Baxter in recently, all that. Slash, literally 14 units left. But that was, by the way, as of like an hour ago, so it might be a little less.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there because if not, I would feel like I didn't do my job alerting you guys to how.
He's literally almost gone.
He's literally almost gone.
Real. But it's just, he's so awesome. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
How this turned out. I mean, this is our.
This might be the best one yet in the series.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorites.
It's between him and Ray Fillet for me, but
Well, I really love Baxter too.
Baxter's awesome. The clear wings were crazy.
Yeah, but he's just really cool. And again, seeing our factory sample really match the paint that I did perfectly. So when we get these first samples, this is an NP1. We call it we're looking for little people that
And you kind of broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're kind of muted now.
Really? Okay, that's probably some weird
What's
glitch.
going on?
Yeah,
you're
that was
fine,
weird.
Alex.
Someone
Okay.
slashing the
Yeah.
cables.
There was
man.
like an internet fart.
Yeah, right. But anyway, no, I just think that this is a great moment to kind of share with folks that we got these samples in, and this is a great time to check for any defects or issues with the paint, things that may not be lining up to what we did originally. And in this case for Slash, other than a few little minor things, it's like really great. So it's always very encouraging to see an amazing MP1 come through, because that just means that it's going to be on the road to finishing up much quicker than if there was issues with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It means we're getting real close. And speaking of real close, I do want to highlight Tim Harvey says, just got my timed release Creature from the Black Lagoon in about 4 days ago, and it's absolutely beautiful. Tim, thank you so much. I got mine here. In fact, I got mine displayed. A little bit of Impossible canon here, because I got it displayed with the revenge head and with the harpoon gun. This doesn't happen in the movie, but I do love it, so I have it like that. This thing is amazing. It's been so awesome to see so many of you guys get them in hand. It was an awesome week for Mondo deliveries. Like Creature arrived, Evelyn arrived, Goddess arrived, Adventure Time arrived. So like, it's the bonus. The problem with some of these delays is that they delay things from arriving, but the good news is you just get like a little mini Christmas all of a sudden, depending on if you ordered these or not. So thanks, Tim. I've seen you like championing it for a while, so I really do appreciate it. And also, go ahead, Hector.
No. And, speaking of things arriving, but, a lot of people have been asking about Egon.
Yes.
Boogeyman, and that literally just arrived at our warehouse this morning.
Awesome. Yes,
so
true.
Those will be shipping out very soon, very soon. I think the same is very soon for Wolverine 1/6, the new one that Alex did. So perfect for if you guys are buying Storm, you're going to be getting your Wolverine very soon here. And a few others are going to be a lot actually.
Yeah,
it's coming
like
in
the
the next
pipe is
couple
bursting.
Months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And then Black Diamond says, fan de Mondo desde hace poco más de un año, ya llevo más de 24 figuras y varios posters. Gran trabajo, Hector y equipo. Sería increíble ver algún día un empaque firmado por ustedes. Well, first of all, gracias, Black Diamond.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. I believe he was asking just so you know, he's just saying he's for those of you who don't speak Spanish, he's a fan for just a little bit over a year. He's got over 24 figures and posters. He's a big fan. He's saying great work, Hector, and he said it would be awesome one day to get a pack signed by all the Mondo team. So we'll have to figure out something like that in the future. But yeah, awesome. So hit me. You can put your questions in the chat, you guys. I will save them towards the end of the show. We'll get into it. But right now, without further ado, she's the woman of the hour. She's the moment. Storm is now in the Mondo shop, you guys. Holy heck.
And huge thank you to everyone who's already stopped by to pick one up. I mean, it's been a great response. We're so excited.
100%. And right off the bat, I want to say I'm so glad that we opted to do swappable cape options. It was a really, like, let's get right into the meat of this. It was really that I remember a meeting saying, like, do we do the wired cape or the fabric cape or the sculpted cape or and then we're like, and Hector, I remember you saying, like, just do both. Just do sculpted cape, fabric cape. That way you can do the posing, or you can have the entire same texture look, depending on the person. So, I'm so glad, and you know what? We're all going to benefit.
Yeah, and I think we had a concern, because this would be the first X-Men, right? Or even any of our animated lines that we've done that has fabric. So we're always kind of hesitant to include fabric, just so it doesn't break that animated look, especially with the painting that we do with the cell shading and all that kind of stuff and the black line work. So I remember talking to Alex about this. Like we had discussed, like, well, maybe should we add like a sculpted floating cape? But either way, like, no matter what, like the way her cape is kind of designed in the show, like it does kind of limit like her posing. So we decided, you know what, let's at least give her like a nice, like, if you want the museum pose, and as you look through these photos, like you can get her in some pretty nice poses with this, like, sculpted cape, but we just figured the fabric cape was the way to go.
Yeah, it's because it attaches to her arms, you know, that you really can't get around. Because like even if we did like 2 different capes, it's like you'd have to like have her arms basically in one pose.
Yeah,
at all times. That other cape, you know. So this way, it gives you can choose exactly how you want her posed. Like that. So
speaking of that, poses, I mean, look at this one. You know, that's just an amazing combination of the fabric cape, the windswept hair. It's just an amazing effect that you can create. And can you talk a little bit about the stand, Hector? Because there was some confusion in the groups.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one was just we just, you know, a mess up on our end. We didn't include the photo or include it in there, but yes, she for sure 100% comes with a flight stand. Very simple, the same exact flight stand that comes with Nightcrawler, and Savage Land Rogue. So awesome. So she does have a flight stand. It would be So we just,
it'd be crazy not to have a flight stand with Rogue.
Exactly. It was just kind of one of those things that was just missed. But I believe it's already been updated on the site, so it's there. It should be there. There should be an image of the stand and on the product listing, so it should be updated. I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alex worked on the sculpt. Who else worked on this, Hector?
From a painting standpoint, it was a mixture of Tom Rozowski, who does a lot of amazing stuff, and Hillary
Arce. Awesome. Yeah. So this is a real team effort. Again, let's check out some of these photos. These are Raul's specialty, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Someone hit me up the other day. It's like, I just want to tell you thank you for the little storm in the flower pot. That was the accessory that just charmed them over the edge, that they knew they couldn't miss this figure. Awesome. What was the thinking coming up with the accessories and the Easter eggs on this figure, Alex? I feel like you got to get her right. But for example, you know, again, the storm, the electricity in the eyes, you know, her weapons, like what's the right amount? What are the things you thought about? What's going on in the design of this?
Yeah, well, I think we always try to land a nice mixture of stuff that represents the powers, but then also represents the personality and the sort of like just kind of fun, day to day, their life outside of being a superhero. So like Jubilee comes with chili fries, and Cyclops comes with a little cup of coffee, and Storm for me, it's like in the comics they always really allude. So her room is in the attic of the mansion, and she has all these plants. Like it's sort of the Earth Mother, you know, part of her personality. And so I was like, man, I've never seen a Storm figure actually come with a plant. And it was also a fun way to kind of work in that, like, you know, her powers aren't just lightning, it's all weather. So she creating a little like cloud of rain seemed like a fun way to do that. And so, yeah, that's where that came from. And then of course you have to like, we tried to represent as much of her like lightning usage as possible. So we've got big lightning, we've got like little, you know, electricity hands, we've got a lightning bolt she can hold, you know, like.
Yeah, speaking of that, you literally have so many ways to conjure her powers depending on the hand swap outs here, the actual grippable lightning bolt like you're talking about, Alex. And then what put it over the top for me is the bolts, you know, emanating from her eyes. That is the coolest thing. What's that reference? And how much of a challenge was it figuring out how to actually make that work?
Yeah, lightning is, it's actually, I find
lightning.
very difficult to sculpt because it's like it's organic, but it can't look like messy, right? It can't look, so you're trying to find that zone of it feeling random but also looking cool, but then it also has to work for production. You also have to think about like how it's going to be pulled out of a mold or how it's going to attach to, you know, the part, like, and so it's really hard. Like sometimes you come up with something that looks really cool, but you're like, oh, but it all has to be like on the same plane. And so the lightning of this project like really stressed me out.
No kidding. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's hard. And like the lightning is not an easy, like Alex is saying, and especially, you know, I'm really proud, you know, and this is obviously we photograph our samples from the manufacturer, right? So, you know, you're seeing the manufacturing pieces here that speaking to Alex's point, we were able to pull it out of the mold, especially that was really thin ones that come out of her eyes. Those were the most challenging. And honestly, when we were developing it, we weren't really sure if those were going to make the cut just because of how thin they are and stuff. But the factory did a great job, and the production team here, Aaron White, and all those folks that are helping us, really making sure that things are looking great. But it was a tough one. But this is one of my favorite heads.
This is nuts.
For this lightning in particular, like I paused a keyframe from X-Men 97.
Yeah,
no kidding.
The effects animation in that show is just absolutely beautiful. So like literally any keyframe looks
John
like
Usman,
incredible.
cover your ears.
But yeah, so this was like that actually like really helped me with this, because it was like I just followed kind of exactly how it was drawn, and the effect I think turned out really nice.
It is my favorite thing about this figure. I feel like that is a showstopper on a shelf, in a display, especially if you light these things properly. Like this is
if you go back to the the one of, where is it?
This one.
Yeah, like that one's like straight out of the show.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
I'm pretty sure it's even almost similar lighting from that first episode, when she like kind of conjures all her powers to take out the Sentinels.
Give them the forecast.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like such an amazing moment for me, like in that show. Like I loved it. And it's just a great portrait, like her mohawk is, look is so classic to her in general, right? And Peter, I think you were asking me if she did have the mohawk in 92, and I had said no, but I was totally wrong. She did have it in the Days of Future Past episodes. But that
for me, it's funny because in my head, you tell me Storm, I think mohawk every time. It's not that I don't love the other looks, but I think mohawk, and I think that whole just vibe of the hair just moving. It's very much like am I thinking Iman? You know what I mean? Like the model from it's just so blasted in my brain and it's awesome because all the different heads allow anybody who has a different perception of how Storm looks like in their mind. You have the option to feature that. And also want to talk a little bit about sculpting the hair. I think from an outsider point of view, the idea of sculpting hair is even more brain breaking than sculpting the rest of this thing and nailing it. So what is it about sculpting hair that A, makes it challenging, and B, you have to actually nail to put it over the top? Alex, that's to you and to Hector.
Again, it's hard because you're dealing with that kind of like controlled chaos where it has to feel organic and natural, but it also has to look cool and styled, and so you have to like have a little bit of like a fashion sense, because it also like it completely it makes it the difference between whether or not that character reads as that character or it doesn't. People always look really different when they get their haircut. It's like it can change your whole vibe. There's a lot of like kind of pressure there getting it right. Like I follow the model sheets really closely, like right down to the strands,
especially the 92 model sheets for this head, for the two big hair heads,
Yeah, and it is kind of, and then for the mohawk, it's like that's definitely more of like an anime kind of like spiky, but this is like a lot of lines on that 92 model sheet.
This one, yeah,
that one. But yeah, it's getting that shape, that silhouette, the bangs. Like there are certain like visual cues where you're just like, yeah, that's a 92 animated Storm.
It's funny because I feel so spoiled by looking at our figures as often as I do. And then I start to just imagine in my head, that's what toys look like. That's what figures look like now. And the hell it is. There is something when you go back and you like compare with, stuff we grew up with or other options that are out there, you really see the time in the sculpt, I feel like. And not only the time that it took you to do it, but as someone who's, worked on a craft for decades, you see the time that you put to get to the point where you can do it. It's masterful.
Yeah, and it's a big shout out to Alex. I think I kind of call him the king of big hair. He's been able to nail it. Like with Rogue, Rogue was one of the more like when you think of like Rogue's hair, right, from that show, and then Storm too, right, from 92. It's just a massive amount of hair, and it could get really messy and rubbery looking very quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that the cool thing about it when it comes to the technique and the sculpting is that Alex is able to not only capture the silhouette and the elegance of the hair, but also make it still feel cartoony. So it's not like overly detailed. There's enough detail in there to still read, because if you did it like the cartoon, it would just be a little too simplified. And then you're looking at it like, okay, it just looks like a big mass on her head. So like you have to like you have to sculpt the strands and stuff, and he's not going very granular like like someone like May does, where he's sculpting like very, very tiny strands on like our Motu stuff. But this is just a different beast altogether. And
sometimes you have to walk it back too. Like sometimes you do like put in a lot of detail, and then when you step back, you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like animated anymore. And like I've had to like undo stuff, redo stuff. Like it's definitely like it's a very difficult trial and error, because it is so work time intensive. The hardest thing was the windswept hair, because I did like many iterations of that, and each time it's like you have to lay in all the strands, and then you find out it doesn't look great, and you have to start over again.
Oh my god, yeah, I can just imagine.
You captured like it really does feel, and especially when you see those photos with Raul took that where she's like floating, like it just gives that vibe of just like this. She's wrecking things. There's a tornado or something going on, crazy wind flying, being all around her. That one's really hard, especially because you're able to make it look voluminous.
Voluminous.
Voluminous. I knew voluminous. Voluminous while still looking pretty and very elegant. And that's a challenge, man. Hair is one of the hardest things.
I love the anatomy of the bounce of the volume. Like it looks, you can tell that she just went up and is down. That kind of thing is happening, and that mass that's right here in the middle and the trailing strands. It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
So bravo. And King Panther shouts you out. Says, all jokes aside, Alex Brewer is ridiculously talented at his sculpt craft, and I am sure he's still learning. Bravo, Mr. Alex. Take me to your leader. I love that. So let's get into. Do you want to say something?
No. I just saw a couple questions here pop up that I can address real quick since it's hair related. Sebastian Gomez Toys, he asked if it's hollow or solid, and the big hair is hollow. So it doesn't, it's still heavy, funny enough, but it's hollow. And it's a hollow, softer PVC, so it doesn't feel like firm in any way. It's a weird. Alex, you kind of felt it. I know you didn't. Did you? Wait. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did at San Diego. I mean, it's like this figure, just everything feels right on the production sample. Like nothing's too heavy that it like gets in the way of posing, and like she poses really well. Like the engineering is like really coming along on this figure.
And then I saw another question about why no black lines on the hair, and that's more of a creative choice that we made. We also did it with Rogue, for example, and that's because when we started adding the black lines to the hair, it started to pull away from the rest of the figure and just kind of like distract in that area. And we felt that, especially with the female characters, we try to avoid any black lines on their faces and in their hair, just to kind of keep them looking very clean. And while we still included the cell shading, like we just the black line work on her hair might have just taken it a little too far. And that's really why
with the sculpts you're doing something that you don't see in the show. With the sculpts you're literally putting every strand in. Like a comic, you would see a lot more detail if the artist chose to do it, but in the animation they're not doing that, right? They're moving frame to frame to frame, and there's chunks of hair that are shown, but oftentimes it's a suggestion of hair, not a literal interpretation.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of saying it. It's a suggestion of the strands, whereas here we have the strands physically sculpted in. So like if you're doing black line work, it's like it makes it difficult where it's like, well, do you do it on some or do you do it on all the sculpted lines? Like that makes it can get like really cluttered really fast, right? Since we are putting so much detail into the hair sculpt itself. And it's something similar even we did all the way back with Sabretooth. Like we didn't add black lines to his furry collar. just because when we tried it, it just seemed there was just too much detail in there it would just look cluttered.
Yeah, I think if something's supposed to be light, ultimately, it's like it because there is cell shading. It's just it's a darker version of the color, right? So you still get that cell shaded quality. It's not like it's blank, but it's the black is a little too contrasty sometimes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Brandon Gash in the chat says the hair techniques I see from the Mondo team is unreal. Between Alex and me, I think you should consider opening a salon for tours. Way to go. Yeah, man, it's an awesome one.
I study May's work very carefully. Like I was looking at Lion-O every time working on Storm. It was like, okay,
that's something, huh? We produce our own references. Nostalgia, Johnny Nostalgia says it pains me to say this, but I think this might even be better than Rogue. Every figure pushes further, and I love it. Thank you so much, dude. I really agree. So let's move on to a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. I think this is a great place to really highlight some of the stuff we're just talking about. But Alex, you sent me a good amount of stuff here. Walk us through it. Point out what are your thoughts seeing some of these behind the scenes shots now this far out.
Yeah, so this is just a very early version. This was when I felt like I really started to find the like portrait and the personality of Storm, and you can kind of see like other things are just kind of like, it's roughed in, it's the broad shapes, not super detailed yet, but getting that sort of personality. This was sort of like my first really started to feel like, okay, yeah, this feels
like you found
clicking.
her now.
Yeah.
That's an important thing, I imagine. Oh, sorry. There's a point when you're working on any kind of artwork where you're like, is this a thing? Am I doing a thing? And at some point you hit something and you're like, okay, I can stop tonight. I can go to sleep.
Yep.
I earned my right to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it's a good save point. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and look at this and go, I didn't even get to any plateau. I just kind of, you know what I mean? And like, that is such a feeling that persists no matter what, right, Hector? Like no matter what you're working on.
Absolutely. I think regardless of what you're working on, there is a discovery process as you're sculpting, right? Especially with like Alex, since he goes directly to sculpt, to concept, right? So that whole thing is discovery, right? And I do something similar when I'm sculpting. I go directly to sculpt for the most part, and it is like a constant just undo, redo, undo, redo, undo, redo, until, like you said, Peter, like maybe one night it's like 3 a.m. and you're still at it.
It's
but
the worst.
You finally hit that milestone in your head, and you're kind of just like, yes, I can go to sleep now, right? So that you don't
Dude, it's
feel
so funny.
like
It lit the
just
conversation.
wasted the last 5 hours of your life.
Bro, for real. Like the conversation, if you don't find it in time, then my brain starts turning into, you little bitch, you're never gonna find it. You don't
Why are you
deserve
even in this industry?
Yes, dude, it's like
Everyone else is better.
Oh my God, like you can't even go to bed, and it's like there's a moment where the material becomes the inspiration. And then it transforms. Like there's like a flop that happens. Like I'm just moving materials around, it's Storm. And then that's the aha moment. So, I
painting so much, because when it comes to painting, for the most part, unless you're doing something like Sofubi, which I think is very much like eye of the beholder, like you just kind of doing what you like to see. When you're doing something like a Storm, you kind of have like a roadmap, and you know what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
To me, it's a little more instant gratification.
Yeah.
Than sculpting, because sculpting can take a long time if you're trying to just find the right, silhouettes, the right forms, all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. It's like alchemy. So Alex, walk us through what we're seeing here at this point.
Yeah, so this is kind of still in that zone. This is just a shot of like the full body and the bigger hair at this point. But this is before like the articulation and stuff gets locked in. And again, it's just kind of like finding the proportions. I think this hair may have changed even more. Like this is kind of like just finding the forms, like finding the layers, like following the model sheet, and then you kind of have to like get in there and fine tune it. I think like everything changes a lot in little ways as you go. And with something like the cape, it's like every change I had to make on that, like I basically had to just redo the cape. So even though this doesn't look too different from like the final cape, it's I had to start over whole cloth because you need that to be like smooth.
Yeah.
But this was like Storm starting to kind of finalize in the sculpt phase.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, continuing on.
Yeah, and so then this is it articulated.
Got it. So
And
this
this
is when
is-
folks can see those joints start to show up.
Right. And this still, it's not like, because like the factory kind of redoes a lot of the articulation and uses their joints. Up actually here, it's like you can see the ankle joints haven't been cut into the
Right.
into the leg, so it's it's a suggestion of
Yes.
like how it could be articulated, right?
Yeah.
And she will have thigh swivel.
Oh, that's a big
swivel
one.
cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point to bring up. She does have thigh swivel, right?
There you go. Write that in your little articles.
Yeah, because she's got
Yeah.
well, but that's another example where it's like she's got thigh high boots.
Yeah, it
so
worked
it's like
out.
it's a perfect place to hide a cut, and she'll be able to pose more than any of our other figures thus
In
far.
fact, I think the only other one we've done in X-Men that has the thigh swivel is Jubilee, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, she has a boot swivel, I think.
Is it the boot swivel? Or
Yeah.
Is it the boot? There's a swivel either at her.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at her, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Cairo says, in case you're joining late, also 2 capes, 1 a cloth wired cape, and the solid plastic cape would be epic. It is epic, and you're getting it, so just know that, not to worry. All right, moving on. These are the first
Yeah.
poly paints.
Yeah, and so this is just to
What is a
show
poly
the-
paint? I feel like we say that term, and we take for granted that not everybody's familiar with that term,
Yeah, so in ZBrush,
which is the sculpting software.
the sculpting software, you use pens, you use digital brushes. It's a lot like digital drawing, just it's the sculpting version of that. And so one of the things that you can do, one of the tools is basically like a paintbrush, and you can paint on your sculpture. And to me, it's a very essential part of the process, because when you start to lay in the paint onto your sculpture, suddenly you can see, oh, this isn't reading quite the way I thought it would, or like this part's too big, or like it just, to me, it really helps dial in the proportions. So it's like an essential part of the process, where once you get the paint on there, then you start to like kind of move it around in more of that final form, and then it's a process of kind of like toggling back and forth between the grayscale and the painted to make sure it's like it works just as a sculpture, but then also works really well as the final product.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But like I kind of did the cell shading on the body. I didn't spend too much time on it because I was like,
Yeah, what the hell is this crap?
I need to spend time.
Get your
spend time sculpting, not
Get
you know.
your act
It's more-
together,
it's more,
bro.
It's more suggestive and
No,
and,
kidding,
and, and a
kidding.
guide to the painter, for
These
them
are just
to
upside down Fs.
do.
Oh, that's a hint at Fantastic Four animated.
Yeah,
All right, here we
little
go.
Easter egg for you.
So, this is a great shot of the early sculpt that features that windswept hair we were talking
Yeah.
about.
yeah,
Talk about this a little bit.
it's kind of triggering me looking at it now.
No
Like-
kidding. Why? 'Cause is it really? Do you get like flashbacks to like painful nights? I sympathize with that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, people ask. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of my artwork up in my house. I have like 1 or 2 pieces, and people are like, why don't you have? I thought you would have your art everywhere. I'm like, bro, I know everywhere I messed up. I know I can see the thing that I had to do and didn't want to do. So
The other difficult thing with hair like that is the whole time I'm thinking about like, well, how is it going to be broken up by the factory? Like,
Oh, man.
how many molds is this thing going to be? And so you got to keep it it's got to feel like there's a lot of pieces, but it's got to be as like contained as possible.
Yeah,
that's,
I forget,
that's
like,
another layer.
Yeah, Rogue's hair was like what, 8 separate pieces almost at the end
Yeah,
of his hair.
yeah, I think it
It
was
was
like
a
at
lot.
least
It was
8,
between
yeah.
6 and 8, if I'm remembering correctly. It was a lot of like layer broken up. This one, surprisingly, the factory was able to pull a lot of it in one go. So, but I think she has several layers, right? Maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Hey, this is big. Johnny Usman reporting saying, stunning. She turned out even better than what I was expecting her to be.
Oh, that's
Johnny,
great.
that is a huge compliment, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. We know that you are a passionate fan of the X-Men franchise, and we speak your name at this company. Let me tell you something.
And yeah, a lot of pressure at with Storm. You know, she's such an important like to me. It's like the trinity of X-Men is Wolverine, Cyclops, and Storm. Like they're the big ones. And Storm is just like she's one of like the all-time best comic book superheroes. She's like an archetypal superhero.
Absolutely.
She's one of the best. Like Storm real quick on Storm in the 80s, like one of the best comic book character arcs like ever. Like Chris Claremont writing Storm during the 80s in X-Men. Like it is such a great journey that character goes on, and I highly recommend everyone read it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And so we're moving on. This is an early shot, I'm assuming, of that accessory.
Yeah.
Look at that. Dude, so nuts.
You can
that
see
is
how
just wild to me.
It's a little, on the thin side. So
I think we thickened it up since this. This is the dream of like this is what but they got it. It's like it's not too much.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, I think for a final form, a thicker one is going to show up better on my shelf. It's going to read from a distance. It's going to have that graphic quality. So I'm really pleased. Yeah. So just again, you see these with the poly paints on them. I think. Let me tell you something. By now, if you've been watching Mondo Toy Talk, you could fake your way into an interview at a toy job. Like, a lot of vernacular, a lot of jargon. You could say exploded view.
Yeah.
And you can talk about poly paints. Can we talk about this head sculpt? We didn't really get into her in the photography. I love it. And it kind of just, again, like you were talking about, Alex, the fact that there are accessories that show you different sides of the character. I feel like that's also true with some of these head sculpts.
Yeah, and this was so specific to X-Men 92. And she did have the ponytail look like in the comics during this time too. So it was awesome to get to include it because she comes with a lot of heads, and like ponytail would be like probably on the chopping block, but it's great that we were able to include it.
You know what? Honestly, it was one of those things where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I came to you a little late in the game with this request.
Yeah.
And that was really like looking at the groups and people like just brainstorming on Storm, and being like, oh, we can't wait for Storm. And some people were like, oh, I really hope they do the ponytail hair. And I was like, I think that's a great idea. And like, we have to do it because it's such she doesn't really, it's not seen in the show too often, but it's such an iconic head, or portrait. So I remember reaching out to you and be like, can you do this? And I think we're just going to include another head.
Yeah.
But I think it makes all the difference in the world because I love this head. I love
me
love
too.
how it turned out.
And you got the famous monorail line.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Someone, Frank Adams writes, I'll meet you at the monorail. So good. Fantastic. And then the poly paints for this.
Colored,
just beautiful. I love seeing this stuff, we always talk about it, but when we were younger, there was only way to see stuff like this was at panels at the Comic-Cons or in Toy Fair magazine or stuff like that. So some great shots here, a little bit more of those powers up close in the early sculpt stages. Again, now I just think about what you're saying when you talk about the lightning, Alex. This is outstanding stuff, man. The fine balance when all you can use are these bolts.
Well, and in ZBrush, it's funny because I don't know how you feel about it, Alex. I mean, it sounds like you're traumatized. But,
He's gonna be like, Alex, I don't know, but if you know, but there was an automatic lightning bolt button. You could have just.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell me that now.
No.
Lightning
I was
bolt.
gonna just commend you because I think anything that's like loose little noodly parts like this in ZBrush is like anti what ZBrush wants you to do. And it's something like, I think like in this case, if I were sculpting the lightning, I'd be like, I just want to do this in clay. I want to just get little wires out myself and bend them and then just add the clay would be easier than to like try to manipulate like the polygons and everything to just move in this way. Like sometimes it's one of those things. I think that lightning is just a pain. But then, I'm sure there is a lightning filter somewhere or lightning subtool or whatever that.
I've tried every technique I don't even remember how I did this one because I've somehow done a lot of lightning effects, like for one reason or another, and like I did like He-Man's power sword and stuff, and every time
you did. That's
like,
right.
It's like a complete. every time it's a completely different method that I end up using,
mhm.
and nothing ever feels like great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Yeah, this
Well,
is
the cool
rad.
thing is that it has weight to it, right? And there's movement, which is difficult to capture. And sometimes I think you get too much in your head about how it should look, then to capture like that sort of organic movement, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You know, it's funny. Fellow sculptor Sebastian Gomez Toy says, "Yeah, they start collapsing as you sculpt them." I imagine he's referring to the bolts. And yeah, what a metaphor for working on something challenging. You start doing the thing, and the thing says, "F you, I'm not doing the thing," and you try to do a thing. It's amazing. So anyway, Exploded View. Here we go.
Backed by popular demand.
Yeah, and down to the earrings were separate pieces.
Oh
which,
my
by
God,
the way,
the
those earrings
earrings.
are outstanding, huh?
the earrings are separate pieces. Yes.
That's awesome.
And there's
dude.
different. The earrings for 92 and 97 are different.
Oh yeah, got the double bolt here
Yeah.
and then the triple bolt. Nice.
So can't confuse them.
Really rad, man. And we always like to show this stuff off when we can because, again, it kind of gives you another sense of what the work actually is. It's not just what you see on the outside, right? There's a lot of really important pieces that have to be engineered and sculpted to work perfectly together. They can't be a hair off, right? It's just outstanding to see all that work. There's that swivel functionality so people can
Yeah.
see. Nice.
And yeah, she does pose really, really well. It's really like just messing around with it at San Diego. Like it is a really fun figure.
Yeah, this is going to be something else. Guys, I'm just so stoked that we're at this point. Oh, we'll do that in a second. I'm so stoked that we're at this point because how many characters deep, not even variants, just characters, are we deep into X-Men now? Does anybody know?
I think we're just missing really the one that we out of the core team.
Got them all behind.
Well,
Yeah. We're missing.
Is this everybody so far? No, this doesn't even have Wolverine in there yet.
Yeah,
Right.
Wolverine's not in that shot, but that's
Nightcrawler's not here.
Nightcrawler's not in there either.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's like, yeah, we're missing. Wolverine's missing from that shot, but
Yeah, Wolverine and Nightcrawler.
yeah. But
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wolverine is 6. Nightcrawler 7, 8, 9, 10. Sinister is 11.
yeah,
Storm 12. Beast is coming. We showed off Jean
We
Grey.
showed Beast at New York Comic Con, and we announced Jean at New York Comic Con at our panel. If you guys weren't watching, and if you didn't know, we did announce Jean Grey coming next year. And that kind of rounds out the team and the core team. And I think incredible.
Professor.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be at a
Professor-
point, in about 12 to 18 months where we're like, do we do Blob? Do we do Toad? You know what I mean? We're so close. Do we, that's what's going to happen, which is, it's so impressive. We were talking about it behind the scenes. Yeah. Bishop and Cable.
Yeah,
are
you need
huge.
to get to the Bishops and the Colossus and and my personal favorites like Archangel and Psylocke, I think. And even though Psylocke's like, I don't even remember if she was in 92 at all.
Hey,
she is.
John Price.
She is.
Yeah, is she?
John Price has no love for Morph. We actually got a Morph head early in this line.
Yeah, two morph heads. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could definitely do a morph at some point down the line.
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm. We're going to keep going is the point. And I just want to highlight that it's rare, as somebody who collects 6-scale figures for a while and definitely pays close attention, you don't often see a line this deep, like in terms of how many characters there are in the IP or in the show getting represented this far down the line. It's just not common. And so I always love that about what we do, whether it's with Master of the Universe, Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, and now our future lines. It's awesome to go deep into a line and get those characters that maybe you didn't expect you were going to get. Really, really rad stuff. Okay, folks, let's do a giveaway. What do you think? No, let's talk about Godzilla first. So, Hector, right before we went live, you said, "Hey, let's talk about this," and it was a good call. We talked about it at New York Comic Con in our panel. We unveiled the fact that next month, November, I think it's 13th through 15th, or like that weekend, whatever that weekend is, we're going to be at Designer Con in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And we are going to be having a pretty sizable Godzilla presence at the show for the 70th anniversary, capping off the 70th anniversary. Because for those who don't know, it started last November, and it's been a year of celebrations. I'm sure you've seen. But Hector, what do people need to know about this?
Yeah, stay tuned over the next couple of weeks. We're really going to start talking about it a lot, and this is just a little tease of some of the amazing poster art that we're going to have there on display by some incredible artists like Peter over here on our team.
Thank you.
Thank you. The amazing Tom Whalen and Jesse Hernandez will be the first official Urban Aztec Mondo print.
You guys aren't ready, dude. Here's a little, you can see a little slice.
Which is, a great piece, and it's so beautiful. The awesome Tracy Ching and
Tracy Ching,
Aaron Gregory, who is one of our partners at Toho, but he's also an incredible artist. And I think probably one of my favorites from the show is his piece right there, which is just a little tease, but it's such a beautiful piece. And Scott Morris, which is just a poster artist. That's not counting some of the exclusive figures that we're going to be dropping. Some really rare stuff, new colorways for a bunch of things, and it's gonna be a good show.
Couple things from the chat here. Thomas Crosby, I didn't know you were a criminal. He says, I still don't own a Mondo Godzilla, and that's a crime, bro. That is a felon. That's it. We are talking to a felon in the chat. Yeah, you better figure that one out. John Price says, will there be hybrid releases, or will most be in booth only? We are going to have some news on that soon. Mm-hmm. Is that fair? Let me just not go too hard into it, but there will be some fun stuff.
Yeah.
In all realms, let's say, but stay tuned. Yeah. Again, as Hector said, myself, Tom Whalen here's this Tom Whalen's teases right here. If you know your Godzilla movies, you know what movie this is from. Jesse Hernandez's first Mondo poster, Tracy Ching doing an incredible piece for us, Pixel Jeff, who you may have seen from previous work here at Mondo, Aaron Gregory, as you said, Hector, one of our greatest allies in the Godzilla verse, getting his poster debut, and one of my heroes, Scott Morris. It's going to be awesome. It's just a tease. Wait till you see all the stuff we have cooked up, because there's a lot. But that's going to be in just a little under a month. We'll be in Vegas. So if you're in the area, if you want to come out to DesignerCon, it's one of the most inspiring shows. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we get closer.
Spend the most money there.
Yeah, it's the most money we spend is at that show. We're going to have a great time, and I just can't wait to party with the King of the Monsters. Awesome. All right, back to it. We are going to now give away a Storm 1/6 scale figure from the pre-order. It is a pre-order window that is open from October 21st, that's today, all the way through November 7th at 11:59 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys set your calendars. I know some people order first day, but I also know some people strategize when they're going to pre-order. Just set your calendars. You don't want to miss this one. You just don't want to miss it. But gentlemen, do either of you have a trivia question?
I know Alex is probably ready.
You know I do.
I just love that you take such pride in this and have fun with it. Makes me happy. Go for it.
It's a hard one. This is gonna be a hard one for the true Storm fans out there.
Before you say it, disclaimer: if you've won something in the last 3 months, give someone else a shot, please. I want to try to spread the love as much as possible. You guys have been awesome with that, but let's just keep that going, especially if you're new watching the stream. Secondly, how do I pick the winner? Alex is going to ask you a question. A bunch of people are going to run to Google and try to fat finger that thing and see if they can get an answer before someone else. Those who know it will probably be the fastest, and I'm going to pick it the way it shows up on my screen, double confirm it with the actual YouTube app. So I promise I'm going to be as fair as I possibly can about it. So now, with that said, Alex.
And with that said, I'm gonna say we can be a little lenient on the spelling. Like, just do your best, but it's gotta be basically right. All right, here it is. Here's the question: X-Men 92, the original cartoon. What is the name of Storm's godson?
Oh.
She says it a lot, so it's.
Okay, I see some answers. Alex, before you say who who has it? If you see it in the private chat, tell me the answer so I can see it here as well. By now, everyone's Googled. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, good. Confirmed. I'm going to look on my end. Ryan Dole says, shut up, Peter. Go after yourself. Let's see here. The first person I see on both ends is JT. Pronounce that answer for us, Alex, please.
Mijnari.
Mijnari is the correct answer. Congratulations, JT. Do me a favor. Please email support@mondoshop.com. Let Mac know that you won your own copy of the 1/6 scale figure, and he will mark you down for that once the figure starts shipping. But again, like we said, available now at mondoshop.com. Don't miss it. She's a cornerstone of the team. I think everybody will agree to that. And it's been a long time coming, and people are really, really, really happy about it. So, gentlemen, before we peace out, is there anything else we need to say?
No, like and subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, guys, we actually have
We're
an
growing the channel
unsettling.
a little bit.
We're at an unsettling subscriber count right now. It's 6,660 subscribers. So it just looks like 666 when you open up the YouTube. Can we just get like
It's
10
very Halloween
people?
appropriate.
Yeah, we're really lining up on the numerology. But yeah, anyway, absolutely. Thomas Crosby says where the tease is at. We've trained these folks. Respect them. We got it, but stay tuned. We got a lot of more news coming out, and we'll be back very, very soon.
Yeah,
But,
if you're a Godzilla fan, DCon's going to be a great time for some upcoming Godzilla releases that we're going to be showcasing for next year. And yeah, we're going to be it's going to be cool. We're going to have some great releases still lined up for the rest of the year. So.
Oh, a lot of people have been asking about a Two-Face update. Can you just give us some words of reassurance to just calm down these unwashed masses?
I think you'll just stay very tuned.
Stay very tuned. That's enough.
Okay.
But we're not. But we didn't cancel it.
No. Of course not. The only reason it wasn't at New, I saw some comments too. It was pretty funny that it's not at New York Comic Con. It's because it was being photographed. That's the reason why sometimes things don't reappear. We have a show back to back or something like that. So he will be coming very soon in the next few weeks. I can say that. So.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry to ask you this. This has come up a lot. Giraffe says, any future unboxing videos from Mondo's, would love to know how to put on Evil Lynn's cape. I think that's fair. It was not immediately obvious. I went and looked up online. Actually, Gabby's the one who figured it out when she was unboxing Evil Lynn. But can you just walk those through who don't know how to do that real quick? Like, just quickly. Evil Lynn's cape. Do you have her there? If not, I do. I can pull it.
You take the two ends, you just tie it around the neck.
Yeah, it's basically what you want to do is you want to get the fur tuft up because it's not completely glued. It's only glued here. It should only be glued here. So you want the fur tuft to go up, and then you're going to stick the cape underneath it, and then attach it to the little horns that are right there. Right. So it goes underneath the fur tuft. Mm-hmm. Right, and then there's two little holes, and you just poke it through, and it's just kind of a tension fit. Yeah, you gotta have to just kind of, maybe stretch it a little bit, be careful, and then just put it on.
We got it. Thank you. He says, okay, much love. Thank you. Look at that. You get a little education at the end.
If you don't move the fur tuft, then it's like kind of hard because then there's not enough of the cape. It's like perfectly measured. Right. So you need the fur tuft up and then stick it underneath there. That way, it just kind of gives you this look you have here.
Awesome. All right. Very, very cool. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Twisted Fairy Tale says answers were showing before Alex asked a question. Is there some sort of delay? No, it was a conspiracy. We were plotting against you. I apologize, but the jig is up. All right. I love you guys very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. A lot more news. Go get Storm. Go get Storm. And